Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared with my lovely wife Kara
Hello.
and Michael from Tactile Knife Co. And sorry guys, we are late. We had some technical difficulties, but we're here. We're here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good.
So there's a lot of people in here already, so that's cool. I guess we can just kind of get it rolling. Those of you that don't know who you are, why don't you tell them who you are?
So I'm Michael with Tactile Knife Company. Tactile Knife Company was started by Tactile Turn. Tactile Turn's been a pin brand in this industry for over 10 years. Tactile Knife Company was started in 2020 in May. September is whenever I came on board. I was part of the first 5 people to join the team. We really just started from the ground up, trying to build an American-made company here based here in Texas. We're in North Dallas. We've come out with a total of 3 knives so far. We've got a new one scheduled for this March, and some more slotted for this year as well. So we really are trying to improve the industry, make something USA made, something we can be proud of, and also support American families, create American jobs, and really try and make something to the best of our abilities. We started off with the. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I know people are really happy to, you guys are making knives in the USA and for a damn good price for damn good knives. And I do want, because I figured most people in here know exactly who Tactile is. So I'm just going to start getting into some of the juicy questions here in 1 second. Yeah. But first, Mike Emler with the $5. Thank you for the £5. Saw your post about the Leon Moth thing. You are a class act, bud. Love you both. Happy birthday, Kara. Thank you, brother.
Real quick, guys, just because I'm just going to clear this out of the way really quick. Any questions about the Leon Moth thing, we're not going to be addressing tonight because we have a guest here, and that would be rude. So if you guys are interested in that stuff, Jared did post a response, and we'll talk about it next time.
Yep. So what's the, I guess, how do I ask it? So what's your guys' plans for possibly, and I know it's probably not, on the table right now, but possibly in the future of maybe doing OEM work?
So funny you mentioned that. Right now we have done OEM work. We've not done OEM work for fixed blade, or for folders, only for fixed blades. Okay. That is something we are interested in doing. It's not our biggest priority this year, but it is something that we have time slotted for in the docket this year. Folders, we really want to prove ourselves as a brand more and more before we entertain the possibility of that as an option. That's not something I'm committing to, nor we as a team are committing to at this time. We definitely want to prioritize our own product lines, but that is something we would love to be able to offer people that need that service. Made here in the USA, because I know people desperately need that.
Yeah, and Bob Smith is asking right now, and this is a good question. Is it 100% USA made, or how does it work?
All right, so how it works. So we started making the Rockwall flipper. And the flipper, the only components that we didn't make were the ceramic bearings and the stop pins. Both of those were still USA made. The titanium sourced American. The steel we sourced American. This is an American knife that is made in-house. I want to bring up the in-house section of it. In-house meaning we cut it ourselves at this time. We surface grind it ourselves. We bevel grind it ourselves. We mill profile it ourselves. We mill the handles ourselves. We turn the hardware ourselves. Nice. Everything we're doing ourselves except for heat treat. There's still like very small components like washers and stop pins. We're not making those, but those are the only things that we aren't making.
Well, I give you guys credit. You guys' heat treats have been great, even with the MagnaCut. When I thought it was a little bit on the softer side, it still was a good heat treat. And I remember saying that. Bald Assassin, $20. Thank you, man. I appreciate the $20. How's everyone's day going? There was somebody up here that said, oh yeah, we need more quality US OEM. So that's why I brought that up, because I know that is a blank spot, in the market right now, and people are really, really wanting it. They're wanting some of these designers to have a place in the USA that they can go and get OEM work. So That's why I was asking, because I know it's something
Yeah.
that everybody's kind of hoping for in the future. We know it's not going to happen, tomorrow, but hopefully we're striving
I
towards.
think a lot
doing
of
that.
designers would flip back to U.S.
If they could,
manufacturing
right.
if they could.
Yeah.
Even Lefty EDC attempted that. It didn't go well, but he attempted it, and so that's cool. But I think it's, for lack of a better term, kind of a barren desert when it comes to USA OEMs.
But,
there are very few small shops that will offer a service like that. There's also a lot of brands that have to find machinists that are willing to take on a project, kind of not knowing what they're getting into. Whenever it comes to like grinding a blade, bevel grinding a blade, a lot of people will either mill profile it, where they use a mill and they're just making a mill drill bit go back and forth repetitively.
Yep.
But to get a true like grind, you have to use a bevel grinder. The machines for a bevel grinder, you're talking about $300,000 plus. Thankfully, we have one.
I've heard they're really expensive.
Thankfully, we have one, but holy crap! Like between that and $500,000 mill and $100,000 lathes, and we've got over 10 lathes. Like we've got millions of dollars invested into production. And although we would love to do OEM, we have to focus on doing stuff for ourselves, because the margins is what matters, and we've got to.
No,
exactly.
Yeah. For sure. That's 100% understandable. I think people are just hoping that as companies grow, because I know you guys have been growing like fast. And
I thought you were around longer when you said the year. I was like, oh, I thought it was longer than that, just because I feel like your name has already become pretty staple out there in the community. And
I'm not sure, but you guys have taken on more and more machines, right? Over the past
so right now we have a plethora of machines. If you all make it to Blade, Texas, we'd love to show you the shop. But we've got four mills, press brake. We have, like I said, over 10 lathes. We have our own lasers, so we're cutting our material ourselves. We have 3 EDMs to cut material if we need more precise precision. Also, we have our own surface grinder, and like I said, a bevel grinder. Those are our main primary machines we have. But we are planning on even expanding that. We'd love to get redundancies in the surface grinder and the bevel grinder, because those are the two things that, if those machines go down, our whole shop can come to a screeching halt. So we definitely want to focus.
Comments? Can you see the
comments?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you can see.
Whenever you're pulling them up, or you?
I'm pulling them up, but can you see the chat on the side too?
I can see the chat on the side. Okay, so your comments you're pulling up on the screen, So
I'm pulling them from the side, and if you see one, just tell me, and I'll tap it and I'll pull it up. But this Zachariah's asking, who's doing the heat treating, if you don't mind displaying.
So we use 2 heat treaters. They're both local. We don't really want to get into the names of them because we work really closely with them. Tim, our metallurgist in-house, has really focused on the heat treat protocol for MagnaCut, being able to go from the 62 that we achieve with the rock walls to 63, 64 for the Dread Eyes and the Maverick. So we're hitting better numbers, and it's been a long journey to make that happen. So
no, that's amazing, and I think only so many USA companies right now are focusing very much on the heat treat, and I think that's super important as we move forward, because over the past 5 years since I've been in the community, we've done controlled tests that we have people doing HRC testing. Some people are even testing the actual steels to make sure the companies are being honest, and a lot of them got called out and found out that they weren't even using the real steel that they were advertising.
The focus on heat treat has become more astronomical within the community, or the I'll say the consumer half of the market, more than it ever has been.
Important.
When I first got into this sort of stuff, especially in the world of YouTube, even prior to having a channel, it was mentioned, but usually people would just read it from the spec sheet and just go with whatever was advertised, like that little range. And that's as far as people looked into
and they believed it.
And I think for a long time, I don't know that it was really an integrity issue on every company's part. I don't think so that it was intentional for everyone. I think people put that range up, and if they hit it, they hit it. If they didn't, it kind of was like, oh, no one really cares about that, until individuals and the internet started becoming more prevalent to where people could say, hey, I can test this at home, and see that there's issues here. So
Right.
it's now just as important as what handle material you're using. Like it's become
because it's easy for people to check and test, and now
Yeah.
more people are understanding of it. So before people didn't understand it as much, but
if you don't
now-
understand, you can't care.
Right. Now
Yeah.
people do. So I think, and where I was going with it is I think it's very important for companies to start taking it more serious. And some are, like you guys are taking it serious. Spyderco's taking it serious.
Dude,
TRM.
Spiders go. Chris
Yeah.
Reeves has also pioneered a lot of that.
Chris Reed, yeah, same
yeah.
thing.
I
And I love
really
it. I love it.
I really tip my hat to Larry Thomas and how he's pioneered this, because
Oh my
it's
God.
it's really
Yeah.
because of him and, like you said, some YouTubers, some Instagram influencers that have really pioneered the specifics of steel, and we're not hiding behind smoke and mirrors. We want to show off and be proud of what we do.
Thanks, Alice. I appreciate it. So somebody was asking, and I don't know if you guys have any plans in the future, because I don't know how far away you guys plan designs or anything, but do you guys, or have you guys thought of any designs with any hole deployments?
Yeah.
Somebody
So
was
our next model, that, in case you aren't aware, is the Maverick. This is a axis lock thumb stud designed by Richard Rogers. Our next after that is either going to be a slip joint or a frame lock flipper. The designer for the frame lock flipper is going to be TJ Schwartz. So he's really well known for making amazing actions, amazing designs. So we're really excited for that. We've got the files, we've got the preliminary designs. We're working on fine tuning how we're going to produce it, and then go into the prototyping phase. So we hope to have that by Blade Show. That specific one will also have a hole deployment. We will also be doing non-flipper versions of it. So we'll have a flipper with a hole deployment, and also a non-flipper version that we'll do small runs of as well. But that will also come at a higher price tag. So expect that to be somewhere in the 6, 7, maybe even 8 range, because we're really going to flex our machine time, our engineering, and even every detail to the clip. So everything is going to be focused on looking at like inlays, looking at pivot colors that are extremely difficult for us to manufacture, and with that's going to have some more price.
What do you think the price range is going to be on the Maverick?
So we've already set the price range on the Maverick. So I don't have it here, but the micarta version, we should have handles this week. Those are going to be $250.
Nice.
The titanium version is going to be $350. So this is full titanium with the steel liner. It has titanium hardware and titanium accents that are anodized blue. Also, even a pivot collar. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that pivot.
Even a pivot collar right there.
Yeah, I do too.
So we really spared no expense whenever we were trying to really come out with. I think this is going to be our flagship, and then the frame lock flipper is going to be like a halo project for us.
Right. Mike Demler, thank you for the 5 bones. He said swing by his live when we are done with the show.
I have seen a couple in the
Go ahead.
people in the chat asking what your exact position and or affiliation is with Tactile. Like, what do you do?
So I was one of the founding members, like I said, for one of the first 5. And as far as my job position right now, I manage accounts. So like all the people we work with, A, by OEMs, B, by designers, stuff like that. And then I also focus on our social media marketing, both on Instagram and on Facebook. I've done customer service for the last 3 years, a man of many hats, as we all have to be whenever we're starting from the ground up.
That's a lot. Just social media alone can be a monster. So that's a lot.
Don't get me on that. I've been doing that since 2014.
Steve's asking, how long will the wait be to fulfill the Maverick? How long will the waiting list be?
Right now, the waiting list is 3,700 people or something like that. So it ultimately comes down to how many people are going to buy.
First come, first serve.
It's not first come, first serve. We will unlock a block of people in the waiting list. Those people will be allowed to buy, and then we'll unlock the next block, and you'll have a certain time frame to be able to purchase. We'll be making the stuff in that time frame. At that time, also, we will be giving some to dealers. So there will be some dealers. So if you're lucky and you get one from them, you don't have to worry about your spot in line. So we're trying to do a good system.
What dealers are you guys working with? What dealers?
Man, we work with a lot of them. Some of our favorites: Blade HQ, House of Blades, Monkey Edge, Knife Center, Knife Joy, DLT, all the major ones. Yeah.
Red says we will gladly pay $600 to $800 for high quality American made knives. Oz, Brown, etc. I agree. When
that's the crazy thing is you don't have to with Tactile and they're still really good.
Right. But with the new model though, if they're flexing, this new model,
sure.
I mean that's awesome. I applaud any American company that's successful and continues to strive and grow and just basically evolve. Because and we've talked about it before. I know people don't know, but me and you kind of talked about it before. About the American companies evolving, and I love to see them evolving, and I kind of being a part of the community and actually hearing what people are wanting, so that they're not left in the dust.
Mm-hmm. I came into this industry as a collector. My entire life I've spent collecting knives. Whenever 2014 hit, I started collecting mid-tex customs and collected customs, mid-tex productions, high-end productions. I've had everything from a $4,000 Jeremy Marsh to cheap little Frost cutlery as a kid. Right. So I understand that the industry will pay for something if we can make something that is worth that price tag. So that's really what our main goal and mission is and drive is. And I'd love to show you the design whenever you come to Texas, but I think TJ's knocked it out of the park. And again, if we can get to the prototyping these by Blade Show, I'd love to make that happen. Brandon Sutton asked a question real quick. Any more fix in the future, perhaps? Yes, for sure. So we've got our next fixed blade. We're currently talking with a great designer in Tennessee. Another one, 2 other designers as well. I'd love to do a fixed blade every quarter for Tactile. Definitely a Warncliffe this year and a drop point.
Thank you for the donation, Brandon. I appreciate it. What size is the flipper you guys are planning on doing after the Maverick? What do you know what size it is?
I think it's 3 1/4. I think it's 3
Somebody
1/4.
was asking if you guys are planning on
doing.
Somebody was asking if you guys are planning on doing any broader blades or thicker blades or anything like some thick boys.
We like to keep it thin and slicey.
A lot when you start getting into those.
We like to keep it thin and slicey. Specifically with, again, the Halo project, we'll be able to kind of lean a little bit and flex a little bit more. So if we want to do some thick steel, we can. It's not something we want to come out with it originally with. It's going to be about the same thickness as the Rockwall that we're used to. So add an inlay on top of that, and maybe a little bit more. You're talking about a very thin, very precise, well executed, extreme precision piece.
I think a lot of people want that. I think there's a lot of players that even American ones that take up that niche of big, thick boys. Yeah, like I feel like that's a space that exists and you can have it. And a lot of people just constantly are begging for slicier. So like, I don't see wasting your time with a thick one as of yet. I think coming out the gate, showing your sliciness.
Maybe a broad blade. Broad
is
broad the flipper will be more broad. Yeah.
Okay.
As far as thickness, also that's kind of where I came from. If you remember back in 2014, 2015, if it wasn't a 1/4 inch thick, nobody wanted it.
It
wasn't a broad.
Medford, they were king.
Yeah, I do think the industry is wanting thinner and more slicey again. Going into the heat treat, going into like our Bayer is the thickness of 3 slices of gum. This thing is like super thin, and we want to keep this idea. We want to keep a very minimalist profile in your pocket. We don't want to take up too much space, and we want to offer the most bang for the size and bang for the buck that we can.
Do you work on the Tactile pen side?
I do work there on helping some things with that. I don't do all the business meetings. I don't run that social or anything like that. That social is run by a good friend of ours, Ed Jelly, and he is an amazing photographer.
I seen you have somebody from Australia in here.
Oh, yeah.
Alan saying that he sells some of your knives. And then Bob's asking, how long from prototype to production on shelves? What is testing process to ensure no failures?
So
what is your
that's
process?
Yeah, that's definitely something we've had to grow into. So originally on the flippers, we had these, and they were good, but the actions and dialing in that action as a brand new company, because this is our first knife, was one of the hardest processes we've ever had. Kickback on quality control back then, like if I didn't approve it, it didn't go out, and nobody liked me at the shop. But
and you were already a knife fan.
Exactly.
Right?
So I came into this. Yeah, I came into this having $1,000 plus knives. So right. I knew what a good flipper felt like, and
that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
we have let some through that weren't up to snuff, but we learned the process, and we start back at the beginning, modify whatever. Even if we have to redesign something, we do that. As far as the overall question of how long does it take from prototype to shelves, I'd like to just bring up the Maverick. So the Maverick, we had an in-hand prototype made by Richard Rogers in right before Blade Show last year, and it's taken us all the way till March to be able to release it finally. We've got full production models that will be finished up on Friday that we're going to be carrying for the next month. As a team, we'll be sending some out to individuals to abuse and really put them through the paces. So we give about a month of here's some issues, but I will also say with Maverick, we've had to push it back over a month because, again, of issues. We've had an issue pop up that we didn't like, so we have to focus on that, find that problem, and adjust, move forward. Scrap a lot of money worth of material in blades, handles, and everything else. But our team as a whole, and Will Hodges is the owner, has a dedication to give the consumers the best product that we can, and that means that holding no expense when it comes to prototyping.
I'm sorry, just quick question, Jared. Because people keep talking about the pens, and it keeps making me think about it. The pen is the one that when you got it initially is the one that I stole from you immediately, correct?
Yeah. We have two of them now.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
We don't have that. We don't have the click yet. That's what we need.
Oh,
we have the bolt action. Yeah, the bolts.
That one's cool with the blue.
So we're most known for our bolt action pens. That's the most common.
Oh, there we go.
We lost you just.
The audio went out, and I panicked. I had PTSD.
Oh man, yeah, PTSD. And right now we do seasonal releases. So every quarter we do seasonal releases, and this is our new one, and it looks like a galaxy. We call it Deep Space. It's got a little satellite here on the clip.
I love outer space.
Yeah, that's our new hotness. We actually have some knives coming out to match this. That'll be out in a few weeks as well. Just like what we did, this was the last seasonal release that we had. It was called the Nebula, and it had some like cyberpunk vibes.
What is the material? What is the white? Is that still titanium or?
So it's Cerakote titanium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Cerakote titanium.
Cerakote.
Yeah.
Nice.
So as far as materials, what we've worked with currently, for the pen side, we work with bronze, titanium, copper, and zirconium, and then some other exotics. For the knife side, we work with Ultima a lot, and we work with bronze, copper in limited runs, Rich Light a lot, and titanium. The next thing we have coming out is Ultima.
I love all the milling you guys do. I think I know
Thanks.
Like milling's not a new thing by any means, but the very miniature micro milling across the entire thing, it takes what otherwise is just a plain colored scale, whether that's plain tie, plain G10, or whatever you're doing it on. And it just gives it like a look without having to go full lightning bolt anodization crazy. You know what I mean? It just gives it, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things. If I see milling, I want it.
So there is slight texture on our pens, and we tried to cross that
Yeah.
over through the brand.
That's why I liked it. That's why I
it came
stole
from.
it the second he got it. I just immediately pocketed
Well,
it.
I remember when I seen it, like before I touched it or anything, I seen it and I was like, damn it.
You wanna touch
I
it.
want to get my hands on
Yeah.
that so bad. Steve with
It's
the 5 bones.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. He says, why won't you tell us who does the heat treat? I asked you at Blade Show and you guys refused.
So the main reason why is because there's a lot of other knife companies in the world. There's a lot of other knife companies in this industry, and we work really closely with these people to get them to our standards. And we don't want to share our secret sauce. There's everybody has their one little recipe they want to keep behind closed doors. That's definitely one of ours that we want to not really get out there.
But it is being done in the United States.
It's being done 30 minutes from our shop.
Okay.
So right. you could figure it out if you really wanted to. It's just we're not gonna give you a direct link to
give it
them.
away so that other companies can then want to use it or something.
Just so everybody knows, we are planning on going to Tactile's shop here soon, and we're going to be filming their shop. How many square foot is your guys' shop?
Shoot, I think we're using currently 23,000 square feet of the building.
All right.
So
that's big.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting
we plan on expanding into more of the building, and the whole total building is 40,000 square feet. So long-term goal, we want to be pretty big in this industry. We don't want to play putt-putt.
Brian asks if you can pull up the Maverick again.
Yeah.
He missed it. Shout out to Brian.
So the Maverick,
go and check him out.
Maverick is designed by Richard Rogers. Richard Rogers is a good friend of ours. Him and Sally are amazing couple. We used his iconic clip for this. He wanted to do a triangle for the pivot, so we added a matching pivot collar on the opposite side. This is his first time using a crossbar lock system. So he designed it, prototyped it at house. We've had to tweak it some and worked with him closely on doing that. We've worked with a spring manufacturer, again local, to be able to come up with a stronger, better spring for this knife for us. We just got the full production batch of those last week. Originally, we were going to use a different system. Currently, we have custom washers, bronze phosphor washers, being made for us for these. Wow. They have relief holes cut out to hold oil, also to make it where there's more surface as far as like outside diameter, but there is less friction as well. That's what the holes are doing. So you have a stronger, more robust.
It has pockets, basically.
Yeah.
The washer, yeah, that's nice. There's a link right there to Steve if you guys want to go and check out his custom knives. He's doing chef knives. Really nice too. Moose says the knife community and the understanding of knives and quality has gone up dramatically, which causes the competition for great quality at a good price to be increased. Good time to be into knives. Yeah. I 100% agree. Bob says thanks for answering my question. Redbeard says, I will say you guys have gotten better quickly. Very impressive. Keep it up. You guys will rule the American market. Yeah, it's everybody loves the American market, including myself. I absolutely love it. It's my favorite market, and I want it so bad to succeed and to just do amazing things. I get frustrated at some of the companies that I feel like have so much potential and can fit a place, like kind of like I've said before, that the $100 range. Not saying that the knives in the $250 and $500 and $600 aren't great too, and those are great categories to be in. But we have nothing right now whatsoever that's manual in the $100, even $115 and less price range that's manual, made in the USA. That's good, right? That's good. That's a big deal. We had Kershaw was making, I think, the bare knuckle, which people could argue maybe the parts made overseas. I don't know, but regardless, it's supposed to be USA made, but they discontinued it, right? And then now all they have is assisted knives and automatic knives. And I personally think, and I know people are going to argue that, like in big box stores, assisted knives are very popular, but I would almost argue that today, because detents are done so well and people know that a good detent, usually means a better knife rather than a spring, which means you can kind of cut corners a little bit with a spring, with an assisted knife. So people know that that's probably a little bit better quality and are more seeking that out more than, I see people all the time screaming like, hey, when you guys going to do a manual knife? When you guys going to do a manual knife? And they just ignore the questions.
Yeah, I definitely that's our original goal as a brand was to make something as affordable as we could. That's what the pin brand is known for, $100 pin. We'd love to get in that sub $200 price range. The issue with that is how many more millions worth of dollars of machines is it going to take for a brand like ours to be able to compete in that world? It's doable. It's just not something.
Oh. It'll come back. The audio, right?
We're losing.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay, wait. Hold on. It's choppy, but it's coming
Just
back.
wait 1 second.
I still see y'all. Yeah.
We can't see or hear you, so just hang on.
Well,
1
we
second.
can see you. It's just choppy.
But not really, though. Just give it 1 second. If you can hear me, I'm gonna read this super chat from Steve. Steve says, and thank you for the 5 pounds. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
You can hear me. Okay. He says, there's nothing magical about heat treat. That's BS excuse. I didn't ask you for the protocol. I asked who is doing it.
Well, he can't answer. So why'd you
I don't know if it's up to him. He can't
Can you
answer.
hear me now?
No, I mean can't answer because of the audio.
I thought
we heard that sentence from you.
Yeah, just
Hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. I think.
Hello?
Keep talking. Yeah, we can hear you.
Are we back to good? Okay.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think your screen is
so
froze up
Steve,
right now,
okay.
Sorry, guys.
As long as you can hear me. Again, I'm not at liberty to tell you. I am not the person who deals with our heat treaters. I'm the dude that deals with social media, customers, and stuff like that. It's a decision as a brand we have made. It is not something I'm at liberty to tell you. Sorry if you think that's a BS answer.
Yes, that's just the way he talks. Don't take that personal.
Steve.
I'm not. I have to deal with customer service. I can take a lot of shit. That's fine.
Trust me, I spent my whole life doing that.
This is the thing. This is the thing, and people have to understand. Like, a lot of companies have lied. Like we one just recently got called out for absolutely 100% lying about where the knives were being made, that they weren't being made in China when they absolutely were. Like a lot of different things, and then another one not that long before that, and another one not that long before that. Like so, it's like the people are wanting.
Do you remember Quartermaster?
Yeah.
Do you remember Quartermaster knives? Yeah. Saying Texas made, man.
Right.
Yeah, that was funny.
Exactly.
I will say though that not releasing who is heat treating your knives, I can understand the aspect of even if you don't say how it's being done or your specific protocol, if you're doing a really good protocol and the result of said protocol is producing really good heat treat, USA made, people are loving it, even if they don't say how they do it, if they say who does it and it's a small company, maybe they kind of found their own little,
they're going to use our protocol. Yeah.
Then people are going to go to them, and unless I don't even know if you could patent a thing like that, you might be able to, and maybe that's a good move. But
like he said, though, people could probably find out pretty easily. He's not, able to disclose it, but maybe he'll talk to, his boss and say that people are wanting to know.
I can see both sides of again, the mistrust that some USA companies have caused amongst the community. And then I can also see, not disclosing certain things, but again, though, the fact that you're inviting us to come film the inside of your entire shop shows a lot of integrity. That's why I'm not overly concerned about that bit of it, but I could see why somebody would be, though. I'm not discrediting either point.
No, I understand.
I'm Switzerland. I just don't want anyone to hate me. That's me. Steve's gonna be mad at me. No, I'm
I
just
do
kidding.
the signal bit when I want to get off the phone.
Yeah, that was a funny comment. Do you get that?
Yeah, I got it. Tonight we will be focusing on the guest. If you haven't, okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. And then custom EDC knives. He says, "How's everyone doing? Thank you for the 2 bones, man. I appreciate all the donations, guys. Thank you, guys. Just draw a 30-minute radius from their shop."
Oh my goodness.
All right. Yeah. So Quartermasters is guilty for what a lot of companies do now. Yeah.
No, not a lot of companies do that. I don't think they were ordering made in China stuff.
It's still
some.
Sometimes when things get highly publicized, you feel like it's more numerous than it is. You know what I mean? Like when things get highly publicized, like you start to feel like that it occurs more often than it actually does, when in reality it's just that those stories are very loud and consistent and you hear them a lot, even though it's a small number out of the grand scheme. I don't think most US companies are lying about where their stuff comes from. I think some
are
Some are,
100%.
that we probably don't know about. I wouldn't doubt
Some
that.
are.
But it only takes a few or even sometimes one to put complete mistrust, because the thing is prior to finding out about said companies,
you believed them.
You believed them. So
I even said it on my channel, like I had one on my channel, 100% said it, and he backed it up, and then I got caught with my pants down backing them up.
Yeah.
So but that's not saying that you guys do it. So don't take it like that whatsoever.
Oh yeah.
You see where the people come from, the community, where they
well,
want.
Like he said, he is the community who was
right. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Reptilian Research says, I work under a non-disclosure agreement. I signed it. Steve says, your man cut isn't anything special. Anyone want my Rockwell? $200. Hit me up on Instagram. I'm over with this cloak and dagger BS. Thank you for the 5 bones, Steve. I appreciate it. I thought you guys did a good job. So, like I said, I thought that the Magna Cut, and I have an earlier model, but I thought the Magna Cut was done a little bit on the softer side, but I thought the heat treat was still done very well. The way it deburred, the way the burr came up.
Specifically for that, I want to just explain one of the reasons why the Bayer and the Rockwall will never hit the 63-64. So those are done.
That was before you guys hit the 63-64 mark.
Yeah, those will always stay in the 62. The reason why it's going to be 61-62 is because of how they were produced. So they were cut from EDM steel. So we heat treated the steel before it went on the EDM and got cut. Our fixed blade and the Maverick and the next few knives we have on the docket are cut before heat treat. So we're able to get those all the way to the 364.
Gotcha.
But also, I'll put out an open invitation. If anyone's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and wants to come by the shop, hit me up. I'd love to show you around. We're not hiding anything. We'll come and show you the entire operation. Also, if you're
that's not why we're coming, by the way.
No.
Just so you know.
I know.
Hang out.
But I'm just letting the chat know, like, man, we are what we say we are. We want to show everyone what we are, what we do, and come and see it yourself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think it's because there are a bunch of companies that say the same thing, and that's an amazing thing to be fully transparent, be open to, and also this is a huge thing, to be open to criticism. Right, you're here on a live. That says a lot.
Oh yeah,
I do appreciate you being here. So
thank you. Thanks for having us.
A lot of people don't have the ball to do it. So
yeah, that's true.
Especially on our channel. So that says a lot. I think Cue Ball is working extra hours tonight. Not sure. Yeah,
everyone thinks that I'm Cue Ball. That it's a thing that like no one's ever like when I'm here, he's not. So Bob Smith thought that I was Cue Ball because he thought I was him like helping you out behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And now he says every time I'm here that Cue Ball's not. And so now
that's funny. That's funny. Steve with another 2 bones. He says, no, you won't. You're not showing the heat treat shop.
Oh my God.
He's on it.
It's not my shop to show.
It's obvious to me that no one would manufacture all of the parts in Texas and then ship the blades to China for heat treating. Right. That's true. That's true. I don't think anybody's thinking that they're heat treating because I don't think they have fucking Magna Cut over there. Like as far as I know right now, they don't, and none of the companies can get it. Only the U.S. because the U.S. is buying it all up. But I think people are just, I don't know, wanting to know because some companies obviously do better work and are more credible than others. So
Reason quite credible company.
I have no concerns for who's doing the heat treating as long as the Tactile takes responsibility for the quality control in the entire knife. Very true. I'm going to come by and we can have lunch and dinner at the Boiling Crab. I'm guessing you know what that is.
I don't know where that is. Hopefully it's dang good stuff. I know we've got Tranky's Tacos with Damn Good Taco Shop close to the shop. Some really good barbecue as well. But then again, we're Texas, so if we don't have good barbecue, there's a problem. But
Yeah.
Brian's wondering. He says, can you ask what Maverick factory edge angle is? I saw the Maverick was advertised at 10 thousandths behind the edge, which is awesome, but I want to know the angle in case I want to lay it back. Great question, because, geometry plays a huge part in the edge angle. So like if I sharpen a knife 28 degrees, right, then it might be only 10 thousandths behind the edge. But now if I sharpen it back to 20 degrees, it's going to be, a bit thicker. So.
So on the behind the edge, we're going to have to adjust that on the website.
Okay.
So it was one of the things that teams wasn't the most familiar with the term. They were measuring the edge before sharpening, not after sharpening. That's going to change the behind the edge. So it's 10 thou whenever we start the sharpening process. It's probably closer to 12, 13 whenever it gets through. We're going to get the final measurement on that and update the website accordingly.
Do you know what edge
I believe we do a 20 degree angle.
What do you say?
20 degrees.
20 or 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty common.
Why don't you typically see more knife companies doing 17 out the gate?
There's the reason why is because
a lot of fucking time.
You can always sharpen your knife when you get it, right? Some people are tougher on their edges, and they if they get an edge that's a low angle, then they're going to trip their edge because they're going to be using it harder. Fair. And if you want a low angle, sharpen it, right? It comes with a little bit of a tougher angle.
That's a fair answer.
Because some people want a tougher edge. Some people, want a lower angle. Just depends on how you use your knife.
Window Breeze asks,
right? You can always lower it. You can't take it back. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Window Breeze has asked a question. Where did I say Turkey's Taco? No, it's Tranky's. Trankyes. Tacos. They are on Plato Road
down there, or a single place.
No, it's a one-off. They're only open for lunch. Dang good crew. Whenever we go, hopefully we can go there, or we'll go eat some barbecue, one of the two, whatever y'all prefer.
I don't know anything about Tactile knives, but I 100% respect and trust them after hearing this guy talk about the company. Great job.
Thanks, sir.
Hi, Michael from Tony in Australia. Hope you're doing well.
Doing good, Tony.
Never get into cars. I have an aneurysm. I think what Tactile is doing is absolutely awesome. 2 thumbs up, Tactile. Nice job, guys. I agree.
Appreciate it.
I believe there is magnet cut, and China VOSTEED knives are going to use magnet cut. I don't know because check this out. Every company that advertised and was supposed to said now they can't because they can't get it. They can't source it. Best Tech did it. I believe Riat did it. I'm sure a couple other companies. I can't speak for VOSTEED.
They might be able to pull off a run, but I don't know that it's going to be consistent.
And they do they do small runs too.
Yeah.
So VOSTEED doesn't do it.
I'm pretty sure the way that they would get it, which I've been told would be how it would get over there, is if an American company ordered it, then shipped it to China. Gotcha. But that's also they don't want to do that, to my knowledge as well. So hopefully it stays here as a USA thing because we like it and we want to keep using it.
Pancho says, I feel like I saw at least one Italian brand using magnet cut. There's a few.
Probably because it's a USA company having them made there, maybe.
Yeah, I have a couple Italian knives made in magnet cut.
Yeah, but it's still more than likely it's probably still a USA company that's manufacturing in Italy, I would imagine, because otherwise, or is it just? I don't know. Is that the case?
What's that? I'm sorry.
The magnet cut on Italian knives, is it because it's a USA company that's manufacturing in Italy and so therefore they're using the USA steel, or is it Italian companies?
It'd be an Italian company just using a USA steel. We do the same thing. We have steels that aren't made in America.
So it's not that they're not sending it out of America, they're just not in particular wanting to send it over. to the market in China,
Well,
where
yeah,
it'll
well,
overtake them.
it's probably who's willing to buy, large amounts, and they're probably willing to sell more to Italy than to China.
Really quick though,
Tactile,
somebody was
yeah.
asking thumb stud. I'm sorry, Moquin was asking, my thumb stud Rockwell is my favorite knife in my collection. Is there any chance we're going to see some more blade shapes for those in the future? Is there any other modified version?
We've had a Tonto on queue. It's just never gotten greenlit to start production on it. I don't
Will
know
you
if it will.
specifically make me a Warncliffe one, please?
No, sorry. So with the backspacer design, it just doesn't hold a Warncliffe blade. You'd have a tiny blade for a big knife. Not that a Rockwell is a big knife already.
I respect your
but
honesty, but I'm gonna cry later about that.
That's fine.
Tactile Center has a good question. He says, "Is it true that if the steel is cut after a heat treat with laser, EDM, etc., it will lower the Rockwell? It's idea
Rockwell.
It's idea to cut prior to heat treat, and ideally with water jet to reduce the stress/heat."
So I will answer that if y'all don't mind. So
please.
with laser and water jet, and it is better to cut pre-heat treat. But with EDM specifically, the way also the material is able to stack, you want to cut it afterwards. It doesn't affect the Rockwell on the edge. It's the process is really, it looks like magic if you've ever seen an EDM run. It takes forever, but it creates an arc and it removes the material extremely slowly. It's not messing with the Rockwell. We've done extensive testing on that. So that's why we did it that way with the EDM specifically.
I want to ask
because
go ahead.
Whenever we started as a company, all we had was one EDM, and that was cutting all materials for the entire brand.
So I don't know if you'll be able to answer this question. I
Sure.
don't know if anybody can right now, but so do you guys do coated blades? If you guys do a coated blade, does your HRC on your super steels have to be lower HRC for it to stick? Is that a thing?
So it's no, we haven't had that as an issue.
Okay.
I will say that some of the coatings do get to a high enough of a temperature that it would have an issue with the Rockwell.
Okay.
So we are very picky about the companies we work with for coatings, and that they use a protocol that does not break that barrier, because we want to give you all the best knife possible and not soften your knife.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked is because there's an overseas company right now that every single time their coated blade comes out, it's always 1 to 2 HRCs lower than the non-coated blade. And supposedly, and like I said, I don't know what's true or what's not. I don't heat treat knives and I don't coat blades, so I don't know. But supposedly it has something to do with the coating and sticking or something. And like I said, I don't know what's true about that or what's not. It could be all bullshit. I don't know.
We haven't had any issues with the new 63, 64 that we're pushing out.
Okay. It's great listening to a rep who knows what he's talking about. I 100% agree. Does Tactile plan on using carbon fiber or marble carbon, fat carbon / dark matter? Yeah.
So specifically with carbon fiber, you don't want to have it in your lungs. You don't want to touch it very much whenever it's in a fragmented form. So we have a machine that is designated to our dry goods. Right now, it's set up to be able to run stuff like the micarta that we're running. We do want to be able to upgrade that machine to something that can run G10s, which again has fiberglass, which we don't want to breathe in, and also carbon fiber as well.
We already read that one.
We already answered that. Yeah.
Yeah. Will there be tighter integration between the knife and pen shops? I have a Rockwell and a bolt action pen with the titanium Damascus accent, but I had to purchase them separately.
So the reason why they are two separate companies, and the reason why they will stay two separate companies, is because of Facebook and Instagram and Google, and just the fact that a pin brand is not Zuckable, so to speak. Mark Zuckerberg, whoever, can't mess with it. A knife brand can. So the reason why Tactile Knife Company was created as a completely separate brand and company was so that the pin brand can do what they do. They can run Facebook ads, they can run Instagram ads, they can run Google Analytics. They don't have to worry about that issue.
That's
so
actually really smart.
Regretfully, we're not going to be able to separate, to merge the two companies, although we will be working closely together on projects like matching seasonals and matching knives to pins, stuff like that.
I'd rather have Chicago dogs because I'm burnt out on tacos, but whatever's clever.
I hear you.
Didn't Crucible stop shipping to international? I have no idea. Steve says all CPM steels is made in the USA. Never seen any Chinese S.
The powdered versions? Is that what he means?
Yeah. Steve.
Here we go.
Wait, thought this guy doesn't deal with heat treat.
I don't know what that was.
Well, I don't deal with the heat treat. Tim Halber is a good friend of mine. He's our metallurgist in the shop. We do talk extensively and talk through some of the things that customer service has to deal with, because I have had to deal with customer service for the last few years.
Not a problem, Bob. That's why I'm here. And then Brian says, any plans for special Maverick / pen combos? I guess that you already answered that. Would be cool to have the same theme. Oh, he's talking about like the same theme between a knife and a pen. Whether ano, Cerakote, laser engraved. Yeah, no, I.
So these two are matching.
Go ahead.
Themed wise, they're dialed in perfectly. Same Cerakote process and everything. We are going to go through the seasonals that we have done in the past. So we have a new release coming up. I'll let people know here. Safety First, which is going to be orange and black. Nautilus, which is kind of a blue, gold, and bronze. Overlander, which is a green and bronze, and Stealth, which is DLC with red coatings. Those are going to be releasing next month, actually this month, and those will start getting us caught up on some of the staples that the pin brand has had, and homage to them by the knife brand.
Did you have something?
Yeah. Somebody was asked. I lost it, but basically they were asking if you have any plans or have you already done button locks.
Button locks is something we've talked about doing. I don't think we would do a standard button lock where that is the only, like it's a manual operation button lock, like a Malibu, or I think Saviti's done some as well. If we do a button lock, the first iteration that we do of it will be springed, so we'll make a switchblade style.
Right.
But whenever we do that, it is again in our plans to make a manual version of something similar, if not the exact same model.
Honestly, I think that for a while the community was like begging for button locks and people didn't understand why they weren't used more. But I personally feel like that maybe people might be getting a little button locked out. I mean, I love them. There's definitely some very good, like for somebody who's new to knives and stuff like that, it's a really easy locking mechanism to operate. But I don't think that it's the end all be all of being a company is to have a button lock. And I think that some companies are heavily identifying with the button lock to the point where like I like them, but I'm actually kind of getting a little tired of seeing it.
Locks that I would prefer to see more.
I've wondered why there's less compression locks, because I believe the patent's up on that.
You just read my damn mind.
That's so weird, right?
Mind. Like, because I think that
I've heard it's very hard to execute, and the Spyderco has trained themselves to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to see what other people's spin on it is.
Maybe
on that.
It's because people don't want to come up after such a tough act like that's a hard act to follow kind of thing.
I think that there's a way to do it differently.
Like a reverse liner button like they did on the smock.
Kind of. Yeah.
They also have
maybe like kind of like the same thing, just with like the CME, but all built together. AJ says, oh, and thank you, Papa Towns. I appreciate it, man. He says, happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
AJ with the 5 bones. Thank you, man. He says, Jared, I saw what Leon Moss said to you. It's totally messed up. I'm an MBA student myself, and that's never a way to treat a client. Yeah, man, it is what it is. I'm kind of happy, you know, it's helps expose, you know, some of the asses in the community. So by the end of this stream, Steve's super chats are going to cost more than a tactile. So a deep space rock wall is coming down the pipeline.
Yes, sir. They are in the paint shop right now.
Okay, so that's the button lock question. Tonight we'll be focusing on the. Oh yeah,
That's just somebody else.
I see it. Lucifer, exact release of Maverick or still generic day?
I'm not going to give an exact day. It is at least March, but it should be in the March window. We also should have some available in person for people that attend Blade Texas and the after party that Saturday.
Oh, cool.
This is a good question. About how many knives can you guys put out each month? On average, right? You don't have to be exact.
180 a week, somewhere around there.
Good amount. Nice.
300 if we have a bigger team, but we don't have as big of a team at the moment.
This is a great question. Pens and knives are great complements. Have you thought about flashlights or any other goods?
Mm-hmm. So specifically, flashlights have been something that has been kicked around as long as I've been part of Tactile. I personally don't think that the market wants another flashlight company. I love Okluma. I love CFW. If we do a flashlight, I really hope that it is extremely different than the current offerings that people are dealing with right now. How would we make it different? How would we make it special other than just USA made? That's the $1 million question.
I have the answer. Wait, I have the answer. Here's my I come up with ideas all the time, and I'm just gonna say, what would be cool is if you did a bolt action flashlight where the light was hidden and then pow, it comes out. That would be dope. Just
Prometheus Design Works has done a bolt action. It also increases the length of the mechanism, though. So then, minimalist is key, man. Like you want a DC 0. You want CWF's little AAA Arcadian. You want something that is small, compact, and able to be carried. I think the biggest way, if I was to make a flashlight now, I hope we don't, would be to go outside of the circle form, so oval or rectangle. But even then, that has a lot of difficulties. Triangle
that'd be
isn't the most efficient for exactly. It's not the most efficient for the size profile. So as far as other goods as well, I'd love to do a pry bar. I'd love to do some other stuff. There's some ideas kicking around. There's also some talks with some people kicking around. Some things might happen. Hopefully, probably next year.
Do you guys ever get like scrap metal? Not like that's bad, but like scrap leftover titanium or steels that you could just use to make pry bars? Like nothing special, but just because you have it, excess material, like that sort of a deal.
So
you can mill it like you do with everything else. Because
material is considered like a nest. So imagine a big sheet of material. You want to fit as many pieces as possible in that material. We are extremely efficient. We are extremely efficient, and we want to waste as little as possible because the more we waste, the more money we're throwing away. So there have been some like small rim scraps, but it's never been something we've been able to use for a project.
Gotcha.
Great question, though.
USA Steels all use guts mined from several different countries. For example, vanadium is not mined in America.
Oh, mined.
Well, of course, you're going to have to mine and source materials.
Materials don't all come from one place.
Yeah, get them where they're at. It doesn't have to be a button lock, but multiple deployments is nice. I always appreciate that too. Hey,
so the frame lock flipper is going to have multiple deployments.
Nice. I see a lot of people are liking the idea of button lock flippers, things like that. The hard part is making the compression lock look nice visually. So the way I was thinking of it was, you guys know the CME from OCD for EDC. It's basically a button glued on to the compression lock. If that can be all built together where it doesn't come off, I think that, change it a little bit, be the same lock basically, so same strength and everything, and would be a damn good way to have a locking mechanism on a knife. Now somebody's going to steal it, and I hope you do.
Could also do it.
We caused a storm about the compression locks, but I guess it's a good thing.
What's the total number of Rockwall sold so far? Do you know that number?
A lot. So as a brand, we've only released the Rockwall and the Bayer as far as production folders, the flipper version and the thumb stub version of the Rockwall. So the entire brand and all of our bills have had to be paid by those two knives. So we were really excited to increase the portfolio, adding the Maverick, adding some more models this year. But yeah, a lot.
That's how much cardboard a Magna Cut knife made by Brian cuts. Brian, the transparent knives, you can see a lot. Yeah.
I have a question really quick. Do you guys plan in the, in the relevant future, not like forever, but the relevant future, to outsource a lot of your designs, just the design part, or are you guys mostly using in-house designers for your?
That's a great question. So our first two models, the Bayer and the Rockwall, were in-house designs. It was ideas that Will had. It was ideas that me and Matt had to create a slip joint. It was Will's idea for the Rockwall, and Tim Halbert helped a lot with the slip joint as well. As a team, we all came up with those two. I've wanted to have the Dread Eye, which is this fixed blade here. I wanted to see this as a production knife before I've ever worked for a knife brand. 4 years ago, I wanted this to be a production knife. As soon as I saw it released from Matthew Christensen, I was like, man, that would be a really great killer design. We thankfully, as a production company, were able to make that happen. Richard Rogers, great person. Him and his wife Sally are amazing individuals in this community. I've always wanted to work with him. He talked about maybe wanting to work with us. We were like, hey, let's make this happen. This is what we want to do. We want to do a crossbar lock system. He took it and ran with it and gave us this design. I would love the next two folders that we have, again, are outside designs. As a team, one of our biggest hindrances right now is engineering side. So it's mill programming and fusion work. If anybody here knows how to do that extremely well and wants to move to the DFW area or lives in the DFW area, we'd love to give you a job, because that's one of our biggest caveats. So our main engineer, Matt, who helped with the designing processes of every knife we have, he does not have the time to be able to create new designs. He's spending his time fixturing and figuring out how to make designs that we have on the books. So at this moment, we're not going to have any more designs coming out from us. We might have one or two by the end of the year, maybe some skewed for next year. But I do think the next few years are going to be focused on designs from other designers. I've got some great friends in this industry that are amazing and talented, and I want to see some of their ideas come to life. So I think we're going to lean that way. We will have our own designs. Matthew has also designed a OTF for a different company as well. So that might be something we end up playing with in the future. But I do think, like I said, the next few years will have a substantial amount of outside design knives made by us.
So follow-up question to that real quick, and then we can move on from this part. But so when you look then for designers, are you looking for a designer who's strictly just making the design, or are you looking for a designer who's, literally going to the end of CAD files and doing knows how to do all that part?
It depends on what they bring to the table. So as far as that's concerned, Richard Rogers is an amazing designer. He's had a lot of home runs, and he also speaks the computer language of knife designing. He's not a pencil drawer. But there are plenty of other knife makers that are amazing knife makers that make amazing designs that they're going to hand you a pencil sketch that was done extremely well and say, please make this. Gotcha. And it depends on the partnership. It depends on who they are. We want to work with great people in this industry. I've worked with 60 brands in this industry, and there are good ones, there are bad ones, and we want to work with the good ones.
Awesome. Anthony,
if you're going to give us a CAD file and you're an asshole, we're still going to say no.
Can you pull up the Rockwall and the Mavericks together?
Oh yeah, I saw that as a question.
And yes, there is going to be some sets with pens. Oh yeah, I like that. That's a good size.
3.5-inch blade, just 3.5 for legal reasons, versus 2.89 or 2.9. for the Rockwall.
Brian's asking, are you guys exhibiting at the Knife Show Makers Syndicate?
Yes, we got an invitation.
Yes. Can you give us any juicy details about it?
The roster is stacked. We will be bringing our new frame lock flipper if we have made it through prototyping of that, and hopefully a slip joint as well. So expect to see some heat. As far as shows go, let me just go ahead and tell the roster. We've got Blade Texas March 17th, 18th. We have a Blade show in June. We have our show in August, the Lone Star Invitational. This is the second year of us doing that. We also have the USN Gathering, the Oz Machine show, and hopefully Cali Customs, Blade West. I know Blade West, maybe Cali Customs.
Okay, so this is kind of a good question. And I think it's probably going to be a little bit more personal or your opinion. But
yeah,
where do you draw the line between other companies being inspired by your designs and those who are more bold in copying your design? So, like, at what point would you draw the line and say, hey, that you're copying my shit, or, that's just inspired, or it's, it's just something similar, but it's not, a copy?
In other brands that I've been a part of, I've had to call some people out on the carpet for copying concepts and ideas that were proprietary. In the EDC community, I do think that the community itself self-regulates extremely well. So the makers and brands don't have to get involved. Whenever it comes to the point where a brand has to get involved, it becomes an extremely different situation. I don't want to have to send out NDAs and stuff like that just because nobody looks good whenever you fight that kind of battle. I'd rather call someone in person and deal with it behind closed doors than try and start a flame war.
No, I agree. I think there's a few sheepdogs in the community that definitely hold back the wolves. I desperately your new knife. If I'm 1,500 on the wait list, then how many months or years am I away from being able to buy one? I'm supposed to get the fixed blade tomorrow if the ice storm does not delay it.
Man, those ice storms are rough right now here in Texas. I've been stuck at home. Yeah, this live video was supposed to be at the shop. But as far as how long this should take, so it depends on what percentage of people purchased the knife that signed up. We didn't require any money down. So if you're looking at a third or a half or 2/3 or a fifth, we don't know how long that is going to be. I know that as far as production-wise, you'll get a knife this year based on the projected production numbers.
Edgy American Shane, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Tactile, go USA. Thank you for the 2 bones, brother. I do appreciate
Thanks, sir.
it. Sid says, do they still offer the Rockwall in XHP, and will the Maverick be offered in CTS XHP? People really like CTS XHP. I don't think you guys are using it anymore, though, right?
So XHP was the kind of favorite child of Will Hodges whenever Tactile Knife Company started. Magna Cut hadn't hit the scene, and a lot of people wanted 20 CV because they wanted that hardness. But XHP has always been a great steel. I've had many custom knives made in XHP that performed extremely well as our production knives. I love XHP. As far as the Maverick, though, we're going to stick with Magna Cut. Whenever shops, and I know Chris Reeves has had this and has talked about it as well, whenever shops have to change steels on a regular basis, it messes with the flow of the entire facility. So you really want to make sure that you don't cross-contaminate because there's different heat treat processes, because there's different protocols as far as keeping it from rusting, keeping it clean, keeping it whatever, sharpening it even.
Chris Reeve ran into the issue with that.
That's why they stay with one steel, and that's I definitely tip my hat for them for really, really leaning into that. And we plan on doing the same with Magna Cut. Magna Cut, if you got a problem with Magna Cut with the heat treat we're doing it at, then come talk to us, and we'd love to help you.
Transparent Knife says, hypothetically, if I knew people who know how to do CAD and have designs to offer, how should they go about contacting Tactile when working with your company? Would it be like a license versus a batch?
If you're talking about OEM, again, that's not something we're offering at the moment for folders. If it's fixed blades, just email us at support@tactileknife.co, not .com. And as far as like proposing designs for us to make in our roster, I would strongly encourage not doing that, just because like we know who we want to work with. We've got pretty much this year lined up. We know who we want to work with next year, and we're already in talks and communications for that. At our capacity at the moment, we're not going to be opening up the rosters for, hey, come design for us, if that makes sense.
You don't have to click on it. I was just pointing. It seems logical comment. I have another question from John M. Not another, but a question from John M. Walker. He is asking Michael, what would be your dream tactile / designer collab? So like your dream designer to work with.
Plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. Why? Because you don't want to call it a favorite?
I've worked with 60 different brands in this company, if not more, and a lot of them are some of my best friends. And I love so many of them, and I'm not gonna pick a favorite kid. I've got twins, and I can't tell them which one I like more. Same thing.
That's what she says.
That's fair.
What's an affordable or budget to this company? So what's affordable from your guys' company?
So right now our offering that's the most budget friendly is the Bear at $200. It's a traditional slip joint done in modern materials. So it has a half stop, opens, $200. Like I said, that's also the same price tag as the Dreadeye, which comes with the Kydex sheath. The Maverick is going to come in a micarta option. That's going to be $250. And then the Rockwall starts at $300. The titanium version of the Maverick is going to be $350, though, by the way.
Honestly, considering that the USA made part and, paying USA workers.
How much money and machines we have.
Yeah,
and all of our
the
overhead.
whole thing, like those are really not bad prices, especially considering the amount of, not to say it in a rude way, but like no-name people who've just gone out and done an OEM from China, and it been more than that.
Yeah, that's
and they don't even have really like their foot in the industry barely yet, and expect people to pay. Like your prices are very, in my opinion,
practical.
Very, very, very practical. Very easy to save up for if you are somebody who feels like they can't afford a $200 knife, but you spend, $20 on a knife every month. Get
sell 5 and get one.
Sell all those. So, but to tack on to that, do you guys ever have, and maybe somebody already asked this, so maybe I'm just, stop me if they did, but do you have any plans to ever go the very budget route, like making a knife that is, G10, lower grade steel,
sub 150?
So yes, well, I was thinking like sub 100. I'm just wondering if you're ever going to go that low.
Usually for the USA.
Okay, sub 150.
Sub 150.
Sub 150.
So our next goal is to try and find a way, or not our next goal. One of our major goals as a brand is to find a way to make a sub $200 knife. We know some of the machines that are going to be required to make that happen, and it's millions of dollars worth of investments. It's something we do want to do in the future. It's just the question is when. When is it the right time as a brand, and when is it the right time for us to be able to make some of these leaps in purchases? That is something we'd love to do, to compete with some of the bigger names. But again, timeline wise, unsure exactly when that will happen. But yes, we do want to make a sub 200. And then once we hit a sub 200, then we'll see if we want to make a goal for a sub 150.
Gotcha.
So that's, thank you.
Borjan's asking, do you have a favorite pattern
for the Rockwall?
Yeah, for the Rockwall.
Mine would be the Hex, the E-Knives exclusive, or the traditional pocket knives where it has full jig pattern. Let me show you the Bayer version of that because it's quite stunning.
Oh yeah.
So that's
jig bone.
That was one I've wanted to do since we designed the Bear. I was like, man, we've got to figure out how to do this. We've got to do it with bolsters. And when they reached out to us, they wanted to do a full jig, no bolsters. And I was like, man, if you don't put a bolster on there, you're spinning a sin, because that bolster line, it's a faux bolster. It's not a traditional bolster, but man, it makes it pop. That or the hex. I don't think I have any dealer exclusives here.
I know your guys' pens, so like when I feel the texture on your guys' pens and the difference between the Rockwell, they're a little bit different, right? They're a little bit different. I think the pens are a little bit finer, a little bit sharper. Yeah. Why do you guys do it different?
So we did it different because of one's done on a lathe, one's done on a mill. So obviously the tools are going to be a little bit different. Okay. So we couldn't have quite replicated what they did for the pens. Also, the grooves on the Rockwell, they are a little bit wider, and the little bit wider helps it not be as slick. So being too fine, if you get wet hands or something like that, you're not going to be able to have as much grip. So we wanted to be able to add the amount of grip that we wanted to be able to consider it more usable in more situations.
Brian says, for the Maverick wait list, once our spot comes up, can we pick either micarta or titanium, or was there a separate wait list option? Oh, you can just pick.
At this time, the wait lists are the same. We might end up doing a micarta version afterwards, or whatever. We'll figure that out.
Lefty says, I'll just pay the $300 and take the higher quality materials. Fuck the bullshit. Steve, thank you for the 10 bones. He says, keep up the good work. You get more from members than Patreon, right? Yes.
Well, hold on. I was reading this really quickly. I don't know if you were asking, do we get more from Patreon than members, or do your benefits? It's not really more. It's just different. So Patreon is
the percentage of what we're, because like Patreon takes a bigger cut than YouTube does.
No, I think he's talking about.
That's what he's saying.
If you're talking about as an individual who wants to be part of either, what you get out of each.
Oh,
if that's what you're asking, Patreon is solely based out of giveaways. Although we do have plans in the future to try to implement more content to there. But as of right now, the only thing we promise to offer there is monthly giveaways, and we do a lot. It's not just one knife a month; it's more than that.
We've never, to be honest, this is just 100% being honest. We've never made money off of Patreon, not 1 month.
Everything goes back to giveaways. It's more just kind of fun for everybody, and then members is where you get more the content piece. So you get a live that's exclusive to you twice a month, which a lot of people who are more into sharpening would enjoy, because it is Jared doing sharpening and all those questions
and teaching sharpening
and I man the comments, so any question that is asked will get answered. So if that's what you're asking, there's your answer. If not, sorry.
Why not? But why not be able to pay sub 200 and still have quality American knives? Someone's got to set the standard.
Sounds like that's what that's one of your goals, right? Is to try to set that standard of being able to do that, correct?
Yeah, that's definitely one of our long-term goals.
So that's good. I just like hearing even you say it, because I think that, well, I don't know though, because sometimes you also have to sort of pick your niche and stick with what you're good at. But I don't think, getting below 200 is really far outside that realm. You're already close to that. So I'm sure that you guys will make it happen if it's a goal of yours.
As long as the shop stays focused in the directions that it's going in, I don't see an issue with it. So like there's many brands that offer different tiers and different levels and create different divisions of the shop to be able to focus on those. So if we have to have a $200 knife and it has to have different processes, then that just is something we're going to have to focus on. We've hired this last year, we hired a production manager to help us be able to hone in and fine tune the processes and the times and how the whole shop and operation works. So we are definitely wanting to stay focused and be bullet minded in the direction that we're going.
Yeah.
Red Beard says, can you give us any more little hints about the high-end flipper? Name, blade shape, possibly? Can you have an idea of the blade shape?
Yeah, the blade shapes, drop pointy-ish. No, not drop pointy-ish. It looks along the same lines as a lower version. So the tip comes down lower, so it's a little bit more ergonomic for more use.
Gotcha.
It's a swooping. It's got a good belly. I don't. It reminds me of a few knives if they all had babies together. It pulls from a lot of really good designs, but it doesn't pull from them because TJ as a designer doesn't try and look at other makers in the industry because of that reason. But it's got his DNA, but it looks like a knockout fast car. It's got some great lines, some great ideas and concepts. The insert pockets for inlays are extremely well done. The hardware looks clean. It is hopefully going to be running on a thrust bearing or needle bearing system.
Needle bearings.
So that's going to be something that's a little interesting.
Cool.
I haven't seen that stateside done in a long time.
No, I've only seen it from Russia and then Chinese companies. Yes, that is exactly how you spell Jared. Surprisingly, you got it right. Most people do not. Will you bring back the Rockwall with the flipper tab option at some point?
So if we do that, we will have to redesign it to have cage bearings. It would create a whole redesign for the Rockwall flipper. Our question as a brand right now is it better for us to spend that time doing that, or is it better for us to spend that time developing a new knife that hopefully will be well accepted as well? So we do plan on releasing a flipper this year, another flipper again next year as well.
Jeffrey says, as long as the quality doesn't drop with the price, that's all I'd be concerned with. Would love to see Tactile and Nice Guy Machine Co.
On that note, I'll go ahead and show y'all. Y'all can get the first sneak peek. Hopefully he doesn't get pissed at me.
Let's get it.
Why are we out of focus?
I was texting Archie this morning. So Archie is an amazing guy. I don't know if that will.
I'm gonna
show up. Those are this colorway. So we threw some paint on some stuff for him.
Nice.
I'd love to work with him on other projects. We currently make his hardware. We make some stuff for him. We just don't make anything from start to finish. He's a great guy. If you're not familiar with Archie, Jared, he's a machinist in Colorado that makes pry bars, pot accessories, and really just a nice guy, great in the industry. Shows his whole process as a one-man shop.
Nice.
Really do what he can to support his family.
Colorado is he from?
You know?
Denver.
Denver. Okay.
He's over there by Oklahoma.
Southpaw says, I want another option besides CRK Hinder for an American-made titanium frame lock. I know you guys could make a sexy milled type frame.
That's what's in the works.
Want that too.
Yeah.
Can you show us the Bear Kayo? Is that how you pronounce it?
Bexar?
The Bear.
Bear, yeah. I've got one.
Wow.
Grab it real quick.
I'm trying to
It's
keep up with the
pronounced
chat.
Bear?
Yeah, it's pronounced Bear. Trust me.
It's Koyo.
I got when I said it the first time in my video.
You said Bexar?
Yeah, I had like 1,000 comments.
Hey, but that helped your algorithm, though.
Yeah, it did. I'm gonna start saying all the names.
All the names wrong. Yeah.
On purpose. I'm gonna pull out.
Come on. So it's full DLC, orange Cerakote. It has their logo right here. You probably can't see that. Orange Cerakote on the other side, Carryology written right there.
That is very cool.
Comes in a pretty sexy Greg Stevens slip that also has their logo in a cool texture.
Listen, man.
I'm not used to seeing that much
Yeah,
work
so
into the chief. That was cool.
Carryology is a really great community. They have a website. It's a bag-based community, so backpacks, pouches, tech bags, stuff like that. It's Facebook-based. Really great group of guys. I've been to quite a few of their get-togethers. Taylor, their head motherfucker, basically, that runs stuff. He's in Austin, and really good dude.
Oh, cool.
I'm number 2,500 something on the waiting list. Do I have a shot at getting them?
It's everyone's concern.
Everyone's
Yeah.
concerned.
Again, should be this year.
Okay.
I also would imagine, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to speak out of line, but I would imagine if you guys didn't put a dollar amount down for entering the waiting list, that you'll probably have
A lot of people,
potential dropouts.
Yeah.
Usually
That's why the percentage.
scoop
That's
people up the
one of
list.
our biggest questions. And then also, like I said, we're going to offer some to dealers as well. So that will mean the people that are on the list for later on will be able to buy it and won't end up buying it whenever their number comes up. So
Yeah.
we do plan on going through the list fast.
Drop out of 10 of them. So.
Well, I spend a lot of my time in the waiting list game, just not for knives, but for video game stuff, and it's a cutthroat deal. And even in the most sought after electronics that I go for, the most rare and all this stuff, even with paid slots, people drop out. Because I've gotten called early for a couple things before that I didn't think I was going to get for a year, and then I wound up being one of the first ones to get them. So it happens. I mean, so if you're that low on the list, I mean,
Brian
like
says,
you said, so.
Wait, the new flipper is being designed by the same guy who designed the Arius? I'm paying attention.
I just imagine the dog ears in his logo going up like he's paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he has done some design work for Koenig.
Okay.
He also does design work for CRKT. He designed the Koenig non-hardware or non-toolless hardware take apart knife.
How many employees?
He's done a lot of really great design work. TJ's definitely somebody to keep an eye on. I think he goes as knife designer on Instagram.
Okay. I think
he's got a fixed blade. He's building up a shop to be able to do his own custom stuff in house as well. But he's a really great dude. I've talked with him on the phone. He also has a great podcast. If y'all are podcast people, I highly recommend Edge and Flow. Edge and Flow is him, Lucas Burnley. Lucas Burnley, if you don't know who he is, you've been living under a rock. Chad as well, though. This is a really great podcast, and if you want to go into the knife industry, I highly recommend it because these are two guys that talk about dynamics that I wish I had known whenever I went into the knife industry or became an entrepreneur, like family dynamics and how to separate time for yourself and stuff like that.
You should watch
I just nose down and worked 80-hour weeks and just kept the needle going. And so I highly recommend TJ and Lucas's podcast as well.
Lucas Burnley was one of the first names that I ever heard just as a professional person on the knife industry side of things when I first started.
That you remembered?
Well, I remembered a lot, but
No,
I'm just saying he
saying-
was one of the first that I heard. I'm just saying it was one of the first I heard. I would always see his name, as I was scrolling through Blade HQ for things. I very clearly remember him as being very just prominent everywhere, it seemed like.
How many employees do you have at Tactile? And then what's the ballpark of annual budget? And what's the biggest cost? So what's the biggest cost and how many employees do you guys have? That's probably the biggest cost is the employees, but I don't know.
I got an email about budget today, and I don't feel at liberty to share that number. It is not pretty. It's a lot of money. We currently have 50 employees. 50 employees. 50 employees. That's between both brands, between Tactile Turn and Tactile Knife Company. Tactile Turn,
USA support right there.
Yeah, so we're supporting over 45 families, it's our biggest cost is labor.
Oh,
a lot of labor.
Yeah. I figured labor would be like one of the highest costs because you get, especially if you guys have 50
that's
people.
why people outsource jobs out of the country is simply because of
That's
one of the reasons, but
we give out healthcare. We've got good benefits. We take care of our employees. It's expensive, but
You
We
know,
try and
that's
treat
great
people
because
right.
there's even things you would expect. Like, there's like this one medical facility that I go to, and they don't even have insurance for their nurses there. So,
Yeah.
that's good just to hear that you do that because honestly, the only other companies that I even know of that provide insurance to,
Big corporate.
well, I
Yeah.
assume, are your employees mostly all full time?
Yeah. We don't have any part time.
Gotcha. Never mind. I'm going to disregard what I was about to say then.
Yeah.
He's asking about if a lefty Maverick will be available or down the road. Does it not have a reversible clip? Because that's an
So
Axis
it
style.
doesn't have a reversible pocket clip. We
Oh,
didn't
okay.
want to make a Swiss cheese knife. We wanted to keep clean lines and not just add 2 holes. So we do have a lefty version. We will be releasing it very shortly afterwards.
Oh,
It
God.
is
So you're just making a
100%.
full lefty version.
Good.
Yeah. So we're
Oh.
gonna take care of lefties better, in my opinion, than if we made an
Yeah.
anti pocket clip.
And it's not ugly for the lefties either.
We want to make it classy.
Yeah.
Keep it classy.
Yeah, I agree. The look of the milling really gets tainted when there's a random chunk in 2 holes coming out. So
And then also like a show side without a pocket clip with the pivot, which has an extra screw on it, and the branding's different. It doesn't look right. Like make it where your show side is your show side, and that's what we're going to be doing whenever we make a lefty version.
cool.
Window Breeze, no worry. Nobody's ever spelt my name right, so it doesn't matter. When it comes to the Rockwall exclusive, did dealers get to choose their patterns, or was it a list of options you gave them to choose from? That's a good question.
It depended on the dealer. If a dealer didn't have an idea of what they wanted, it would be something that me, Matt, and the team would talk about with them, and we come up with something. But if it was something that they requested specifically, then we would work really hard to make that happen. So like Urban EDC does the Segaha or whatever, however it's said, which is like 3 lines that rotate. Kind of looks like a Wi-Fi signal turned upside down or all the way, rainbow. And Monkey Edge is known for their frag pattern, so we did that for them. Traditional Pocket Knives requested the jigs.
Jig bone.
Yeah. Knife Center wanted Dragon Scales. Knife Joy wanted, Knife Joy wanted Dragon Scales. Knife Center wanted gun stock looking, which is extremely clean. That's also one of my all-time
guys are able
favorites.
to do so many different finishes.
Well, as a machine shop, and again, as Matt as a programmer, he's second to none that I've seen. He's extremely talented in being able to render stuff, make it happen, and make it execute well.
That's amazing.
Kevin is the exact same with all the turn stuff.
Dr. Drew, all you got to do is go to our homepage on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to our homepage. Right next to the subscribe button, it says join. If you don't see it on your device, use a different device because some devices it just
usually
doesn't show up.
Android it works better, PC it works better. But unfortunately, there's no version of a link that I know of that we could give you for it. You just have to click that button.
That's cool, Dennis. Yeah, send them through. I'm happy to help.
And remember, guys, if you're interested in members' lives but not sure if it's for you, you are able to view them, just not comment. So for free. I mean, you can view them for free. So you just can't comment. Because really the point of the membership is to give people direct access for questions that we otherwise miss in these lives.
Yeah, nobody can post a link to it, though. It's something you got to just go to our homepage.
Yeah, I don't think we can do that.
Supporting.
Yeah, I didn't expect so many employees either. 50 is a lot.
That's amazing. Supporting
That's really
American
cool.
families is the most important part of my knife purchasing decisions.
That's like a whole neighborhood.
Yeah. Everybody's saying, sick. That's you, Mike. Wow, did not expect so many employees. Thanks again for answering my question. No problem. I
don't think he meant you.
Come for work. When can we start? My bro and I will work for you. When can we start?
Yeah. Where did you say people can reach out if they have genuine experience and want to
support at tactileknife.co.
Support at tactileknife.com.
.co, not com.
I'm sorry. .co. Don't listen to me,
yes,
guys.
Please. But yeah, even if we aren't hiring that exact whatever skill set you have at the moment, we're always wanting resumes and people that we can call whenever we need to expand to the next thing.
what is the most entry? This is just not for like genuine interest. I'm just
Yeah.
curious. What is the most entry level position that you have at your shop? Like the least amount of experience required to do it.
Pin assembly, knife assembly. We pretty much hire those as long as you can listen and learn.
So you
We
teach
can get
people
you a
that.
position that
Oh yeah, you can teach
Yeah.
them to assemble. Yeah.
finishing, so tumbling and sandblasting and stuff like that. So running machines, definitely you're going to need some basic knowledge of that if you want one of those positions, or you need to learn on the job doing one of the other positions. But yeah, we definitely have positions available. If anybody's a knife sharpener, we're probably going to need to double up that position here shortly. Yeah, I don't think we can afford you.
Airhead's asking if you guys do you have any pics of the micarta version?
No, but I'll do as best I can. Imagine the stop material on the bottom knife. That's pretty much it. So this is the micarta, the Richlight micarta paper that we're going to be using, and it's going to be on the bottom knife. Pretty much all I can do.
Any
I'd
other
also
colors or just the black?
Richlight, their color scheme, black is the best. I think we're going to stick with that.
Okay.
Whenever we do other micartas, like green canvas, that's going to come down the road. I don't know if that's going to be exactly what timeline that's going to be.
Okay. I've been enjoying lately a lot of the unique micartas. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but Tactical Everyday Dad. He goes by Ted. He's a knife maker and he does fixed blades. He's really just into fixed blades right now, but he does, and a lot of companies have been doing it, but his in particular is really beautiful. He does the Mexican blanket micarta. And there's so much cool things you can do with micarta, and I feel like some companies are beginning to utilize that. But in the same way that, people love the lightning strike anodizations on their titanium or all the dimpling and all this and that, you can do so much with micarta too. And I have to imagine it's cheaper to use than titanium.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot there.
One of the biggest issues with micarta and those specialty materials, just specialty materials as a whole, is like, what size sheet are we going to be able to purchase as a brand? So are we going to be able to purchase a sheet that's this big that fits on the machine that we can run and it gets us X number of handles? If we have to purchase sheets that are 3x6 like a custom knife maker would use, then it doesn't become economically feasible for us to be able to do that.
Yes,
Same
that
with
makes
blade
sense.
steels.
Right.
Why? What's the biggest sheets do they come in?
Micarta?
Yeah. Shit.
Probably as
8 by
big as
10
the machine
feet.
comes.
Yeah.
The biggest I've ever seen is like this. So like I've never.
No,
seen
we got at least 4x6 sheets.
Oh no shit!
If not bigger. Yeah,
That's awesome.
We had to send them to a local cabinet maker to get them to cut them to size so that we could run them on our machines.
Man, you guys use everything local, don't you? That's cool. It seems like not only USA but local too.
That's awesome. Yeah.
As much as we can.
How
do we choose names for knives?
Yeah.
So currently we have stuck with counties of Texas, except for with the Dread Eye, because it already had a name before the design came to us. So Bayer is San Antonio, where San Antonio is. So Baxar. Bexar is what it looks like. It's pronounced Bayer. Rockwall is actually the smallest county in Texas. It's also a stone's throw away from our original shop. Maverick is a county in Texas as well. So those were our reasons for picking those names.
Together. Holy cow. I have a lot of family in Texas, and it literally just dawned on me as you were saying those names that those are in fact counties in Texas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I live in Wise County. Montagues also has Bowie, the town, and technically the world's largest knife. So like there's plenty of things that we could play with. I don't know if that's something we're going to stick to long term, but that is what we currently are doing.
No, that's cool. You guys should keep doing that. Have like a thing. I like it. That's awesome.
Bruce wants to know if you guys ever plan on in the far future making any XXL gorilla hand big blades.
Them things ain't small. The mitts ain't small. They ain't going nowhere. And for the Maverick specifically, I get definitely a full size grip.
Oh wow.
for even the Rockwall, the way it's designed,
Yeah.
I still get a
Yeah, I
full
get
size
it.
grip.
And,
It's
yeah, that's like
barely,
a
but
one size fits all knife,
my
in
pinky-
my
my
opinion.
pinky
Some people
still
like the giant, so you know.
my pinky still has plenty of room. So if you have double XL, triple XL gloves, I'd still give them a shot. Dread Eye too. Dread Eye. We went for the smallest possible for me because I got the biggest hands in the shop, and it's a full all the way to my pinky grip. So I get a full size grip, but it's still small enough it can fit in the slip inside my pocket.
Mika says, first impressions thought Miller was a snob. Quickly realizes he's just simply a no BS dude who knows his stuff. Now I will get everything that has come and will come from his shop. Respect.
You
Awesome.
made a fan.
Thank you.
Made a fan. That was for somebody else. Yeah, so we have about 12 more minutes, 11 more minutes. So is there anything like that that you want to talk about or disclose that you haven't spoke about? I don't know if there's like any information that maybe
Any
you guys
news?
any news from the factory or anything maybe in the works that hasn't been asked right now.
Biggest thing is we've got quite a few new models coming out this year. Last year, as a knife brand, we didn't come out with any new models at all, except for the Dread Eye at the very, very end of the year. So this year's focus is to come out with hopefully 3 new folders, a slip joint, the frame lock flipper, and the other one, which we're not quite exactly sure is what it's going to be. As far as fixed blades, also, we're going to come out with more fixed blades this year. We always have one of our biggest focuses is try to see customers, meet people, let them handle our products in person because of our brand and how new we are in the industry. Mm-hmm. So as far as the shows we're going to, like I said, we got Blade Texas, we have Blade Show.
You guys go to every show, don't you?
Not every show. There's quite a few custom shows we don't go to. But even those, I may be attending. If you ever see me at a show, come up and talk to me. If you have any questions, I'll have our knives on me. I'll show you anything I can. We try and work with good dealers. I'm sure they have them as well. We don't have as many brick and mortar dealers as some brands, but we definitely are trying to increase that roster. As a brand, we don't plan on going anywhere. We want to grow, and we want to make the best product we can this USA made. We want to support as many families as we can. We want to make a great product for the value. I really, really appreciate this industry allowing us to be able to have these offerings to learn in this production phase. We've learned a lot with the Rockwall. We've learned a lot with the Bear and with the thumb stud Rockwall as well. Both in issues that we've come up with, like sharpening. We've had to have some of the best sharpeners and the best names in the entire industry come to our shop to help train our team to be able to do as good of a job as possible. And right now we're sending out the best edges that we've ever done, and they keep getting better and keep getting better. Our brand as a whole just keeps getting better and keeps getting better. And I look forward to what the future holds. Next year's going to be even more. Next year's going to be even more than that. Our shop tours that we have planned, the shop tours we've done in the past, you can see glimpses of where we were at a certain date and time. And I'd love for the industry to be able to see us grow in this industry and not hide behind a smoke and mirrors, not hide behind a brick wall. We are what we are, and we're proud about it. Kind of a Texan thing, but thanks for letting me join the podcast and or not podcast, the YouTube live, and thanks for the chat, being great members as well, and letting us hear from you. It really means a lot.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah, you did a great job going up against the heat too, which is always good to see, because not everybody can take that, so that's good. Really quick, I just want to mention this. There's a gentleman in the chat right now named Vu Pham. He is a fantastic individual who's worked with companies in the knife industry pretty much as long as for a while now, as long as I've been around at least. He was interested in contacting you. Can you just do me a favor and say the email one more time, because I already forgot?
Yeah, so support at tactileknife.co.
Okay.
CO, not com. As long as it's support.co, we will get to you in a very timely fashion.
Yeah, he's a really good dude.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention his
yeah.
name to you so you could keep a lookout. I'm not sure what his inquiry is going to be,
Here he is right
but
here.
Vu Pham, please give this guy a chance for whatever it is he's looking for, because he's a really, really good guy with being a knife rep and all that sort of stuff.
So Poncho, he might be coming in a little bit
The
late.
people want
any new
Vu.
innovations in the works on the pen side of things? I carry a short size click every day, and then after this, we're gonna start closing out, guys. So
so one of our new things that we did last year was we changed the clip. So the clip used to be a 2-screw clip, and now it's a 1-screw with a post, but that allowed it to go up higher and be a deeper carry. That was our new thing, as well as the slim side click last year. This year we have a new pin coming out. I believe it's coming out next month on the 21st. So that's going to be a new thing. I know they're also looking at doing another new design, if not 2 more new designs this year. So the pin side of things, they're not standing still either. They're definitely pushing themselves to innovate as much as they can. As a brand, we sell substantially more pins than we do knives. We are proudly the biggest turning facility for pins in America that we know of. Maybe even the world, except for some of the big Chinese manufacturers. But machined pins, we're pretty much the biggest in the game as it is right now in the EDC world. And we really appreciate everyone's support, and that's what helped make the knife brand be able to happen. Like, you don't even know how much the knife brand just sucked at the beginning, and we didn't sell anything for the first 6 months of being in business, and all those bills went straight to the pin company, and the pin company covered it because it's been able to take care of giving us a shot to be able to come into this industry.
Dr. Drew, thank you for the 2 bones. Just really quick, I'm going to show you, just in case anybody else doesn't know how to join. When you go to the home screen, if it'll focus, right next to, I can't see it because it's my channel, but it'll say subscribe. Right next to subscribe, it says join. Like I said, if you don't see it on your device, just use a different device. But thank you for the donation. I do appreciate it. And we had a couple funny comments coming.
The people want
They're
Vu.
for Vu.
They want Vu. Vu is he's good. So, but
you
yeah,
bet,
that's
man.
funny.
Thank you, Salamando.
Somebody's laughing at can I get a Warren clip?
Chuck says you got 200 references right here.
Yeah, really.
Fiend, thank you for the 5 bones. He says, Mike, you've been a great guest. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
That was from QM Fiend.
I'd love to come back, and I'd love to do this like we talked about earlier. Originally, this was going to be where I was at the shop doing a live video with the shop behind me while people are still working, and I'd love to show that as well.
Yeah, I'd love to do that still too.
We have the shop tour too. Yeah.
And we're gonna we're gonna do the
and that'll
tour.
be good because the actual shop tour itself will be able to be not choreographed, but curated in a way where there's it's clean, concise, everyone sees everything, all corners, no
fillers, just right to the point.
So I think that'll be really good.
But thank you for coming, Mike. I do appreciate it. I appreciate you you going through the Lion's Den. Like we said before, a lot of people are not willing to do that, and it really shows a company's integrity when they are willing to. And you've been very as transparent as you possibly can. I know there's some things you can't disclose, which is understandable. But obviously that if people are asking that, maybe you can bring it to your boss and figure out if it's something you guys are willing to disclose in the future or something. But thank you for coming and joining us. We do appreciate it. And we want to thank everybody for all the donations tonight. Thank you to all the
and the good
members,
questions,
all the great damn questions. They were great questions. So thank you guys for keeping it rolling tonight. Thank you to all the members, all the patrons. We do appreciate it. And thank you guys for everything. Peace.
Bye.